Hello, Tracy Dixon from Tracy Dixon Mind and Body Health, Fitness and Wellbeing, and I'd like to talk to you today about hips, hip strength and hip weakness. Now, if you run a lot, if you run for a hobby or you run and it's part of your lifestyle, anything from a 5k right up to a marathon, road running, maybe you do fell running, or you're really interested and take part in triathlon events or anything that's to do with running, you know, it is difficult to stay injury free, and runners are particularly prone to injuries, and an injury whilst you're training on the run up to an event can be really frustrating and kind of leave you, you know, sat on the sidelines when really you want to be getting on with your training. So I'd like to start today with hips. I'm going to produce a series of these, so keep looking out for them, and they're all specifically designed to keep you running injury free and boosting your performance right up until your race day. And you know, I've run a lot myself in the past before. I'm not training for anything in particular at the moment, but I do really enjoy and understand the mechanics and the art and the science and all the facets that are involved in running well, either on road or off road. Like I say, from 5k, I've taken part in marathons before, and also, you know, cycling and swimming, but really focusing on running. So, hips. The main cause of runners' problems around feet, ankles and knees, you need to look further up to here. Biomechanically, inadequate hip stabilisation causes problems further down. So notoriously, when runners are running, their stride back is not far enough, which restricts the range of movement around the hip area, causing everything to tighten up. And it also biomechanically throws out the alignment of the body further down. So, you know, running's fairly one-dimensional. Whether you're doing road running or off-road running, you're still working through here. I know the agility's got to be there to move yourself forwards and backwards, and core stabilisation and core strength is a really big deal, and I'm going to tackle that in another video for you. So just talking about hips today. So 3 ways to test whether your hips need help. So the first one is standing on your right leg. Now, lifting up the left leg. You want the weight to run right down the centre of your body, hips to stay level. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe out, bending down and up, lowering and lifting. Now, if your knee is going into the side like that as you're going down, or it's going out to the side, if it wants to collapse inwards, then there's a strong chance you have a hip weakness if there's rotation there as well. So just keep bending up and down on this leg and just have a look down and see what's going on, and then switch to the other side. So take a deep breath in, and then as you breathe out, start to bend down and up. So just noticing things like, is it easy for you to balance? Can you feel your glutes as you push back up again? Or you feel like they're a little weak as well? You want to check to see if the knee's going straight out over the toe. Is it collapsing in on this side? So if you do 10 bends on the right side and the left side and the knee's collapsing in, that's the first sign to suggest that your hips are weak and they need help. Okay, the second one here is just find anything that you can stand on, step. I've got a step here, bench, anything at home, and then just lift yourself up onto the side there. So hips level, and then place your hands on your hips. You've got your 1 foot hovering off, and then lift up and down, lifting and lowering. Now, we want to be able to do 10 on this side here. And if you find that you are wanting to hold on to something, or you're wobbling around, feels uncomfortable, the supporting legs struggling, all this area around here is finding it really difficult, then there's a really strong chance again to suggest that your hips need help, okay? And then having a go on the other side as well. And then the third test I've got for you here today is more a flexibility one as well. So I'm just going to turn this round. So lying down onto the step and then picking up your leg and holding onto it here. Now, if your bottom leg, when you pull this leg in here, if the hips lifted and you can't dangle the leg off freely, when you go down, then there's a strong chance that again, you're really tight here in the hip area, around the hip flexor, and that requires help. Okay. So there's my 3 tests for to determine whether you feel like your hips need help. Okay, so I've got a couple of suggestions for you prior to running with regards to warming up around the hip area. So do you warm up before you start to run? If you do you have a warm up that actually works for you? Do you cool down after the run as well? Also, cool down stretches are really important. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give you 2 ways to warm up the hips before you start running, and then I'm going to give you 2 stretches to do at the end when you finish running, just to bring all the muscles, tendons, ligaments and everything back to the pre-exercise state after you've been running. So, the first exercise, that's before you go out, hip swings. So you're bringing the leg forwards and backwards, again balancing on the other side, and then just get it to move right through the full range. Now, if you want, you can hold on to something. You don't have to, do that balancing. Of course, if you can balance, it really helps. Take the leg through the full range of movement as far as you can. Really start to open things up. Down. Then the other one you can do just before you start as well, bring the knee in and down, just drawing your knee into your chest, keeping your shoulders back, breathing out as you bring the knee in. It's also a really good one just to get things started, getting things warmed up, moving legs out to the side. So you're moving the hips through full range, a number of different directions before you start running. And then you've got that limited movement where the hips are constantly getting tightened up. Okay, 2 stretches for you. So when you finish running, do you stretch off, or do you just go in, pop the kettle on, have a cup of tea, and then think, oh, I'll do it a little bit later? Okay, please stretch when you've finished. There's a whole range of stretches needed for you to be able to keep going and doing what you love for as long as possible. I'm just going to give you a couple here for hips. So right foot forward, left foot back, and then down. So you're taking the knee back on the back leg as far as you can. Set body forwards now. With this front foot here, you've got the toe just a little bit further out than the knee, and keep pressing that leg back. You can feel that stretch running right down the front of the hip here, and then if you want to increase that, moving into the hip and down the front of your leg, lift the back leg up. If you've got the flexibility there to hold on to the leg, you can. And again, as I did when we looked at hamstrings and the other video, you're holding the stretch for 10-15 seconds and then releasing and changing sides. Moving on to the other side. So again, toe a little bit further out than the knee, holding yourself down. You can just feel that stretch starting to work there. And then when you feel ready for it, pick up the back leg if you can, holding onto it. Or your trousers, just, something just to bring the leg up, just to increase the intensity of the stretch. And then holding for 3, 2, 1, and lowering down. Next one is popping the soles of the feet together, knees out to side, lifting yourself up, and press down there as far as you can with both the knees, transferring your body weight forwards, and then lowering down as far as you can and holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. and lifting up. Okay. Well, I hope this has been useful. Remember, do some warm-up hip exercises before you go out running. Stretch when you get back in, stretch out the hip area, and keep in touch with me. Let me know how you get on, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care. Bye.